Greetings, my fellow scholars of the livestream. I'm Mizuazat from the Cosmo Canyon Observatory, and in today's analysis, we'll be doing things a little bit differently. There's only a month left until the Final Fantasy VII Remake drops, for real this time, and I still have a lot to cover and a lot to analyze and show you guys, a lot of interesting stuff. But the screenshot which dropped on February, I think 13th or 12th or something, I won't have enough time to script a whole thorough analysis and edit it and upload it, which is why I decided to do a quick analysis today. It will be quite similar to the rough analysis I did, usually following a reaction to a video or trailer. So I'll just go through all the screenshots, unscripted, and I hopefully won't forget to mention anything. There might be some spoilers, maybe, so if you haven't played the original game yet, or if you don't want to be spoiled and go in fresh in the Final Fantasy VII Remake, you might want to skip this and wait until the game drops in 1 month. And with that being said, let's dive into it. First up, we have Red 13, which is practically just a screenshot from the theme song trailer. I'm going to include him in the next game analysis episode, so we'll skip him for now. Still, how cool does he look? How much detail does the fur have? It's just unreal. Built in the Unreal engine, so it's of course unreal. Anyway, next up we have Hojo, which I'll also kind of skip because there's not much to glean here, and the background we'll be covering in another video too. But for now, just let it be known that he looks awesomely greasy and eerie and creepy and whatever negative sounding adjective you want to pin on his forehead. Alright, but now the first interesting screenshot comes along. The next few screenshots will cover Tifa and her battle system, or battle tactic, combat, however you want to describe it. Here we see the whirling uppercut, her normal triangle attack, which will launch the enemy into the air, allowing for awesome air combos, I hope. And in the next one, we see another triangle attack. It still says whirling uppercut, but it says whirling uppercut because the Omni Strike, which he's using here, has been depleted, so to speak, which is why the triangle attack changed back to whirling uppercut. And here in the next one, here we see Omni Strike, but also we see Omni Strike because she's using Rise and Fall, and as soon as you use such a powered up triangle attack, it just regrades immediately to the next one below. But this one is the first part of the Rise and Fall attack, where she uses a few kicks against the enemy, then finishes off with a kind of a double palm chest strike, or however you want to call it. As you can see, the Omni Strike ability, the triangle attack, is full. This means that the timer has been started, so you do have maybe 30 seconds until you can still execute Omni Strike until it degrades again to whirling uppercut. So in the end effect, you power it up twice, I think with Unbridled Strength. Use the ability Rise and Fall, using the kicks and the punch here, and it degrades to Omni Strike, which you then execute immediately to use this tackle attack, which then degrades the triangle attack back to whirling uppercut, with which you can then follow up immediately using this one. And if you don't believe me, we've already seen this in the E3 2019 trailer, right at the start of Tifa's battle showcase. I'm really looking forward to using her combos and stuff, because if you use a few square attacks, you start kind of a combo there, then upgrade the attack, or upgrade the triangle, upgrade it again, and then use a flurry of blows, so to speak. Also, as we've seen in the Abs fight, or Abzu fight, normal square attack will also be extended by more attacks when she's upgraded by Unbridled Strength. I think we can see it here, or no, we can see it here. Her fists will glow yellow when she's in Omni Strike mode, or glow red when she is in Rise and Fall mode, which is called Beat Rush in the Japanese version, which is also the name of her first limit break in the original, and I don't know why they changed the name from Beat Rush to Rise and Fall into English version. I'm kind of bummed out about this. Anyway, that's for her abilities, for her attacks here, triangle abilities. Let's have a quick look at the background. There's not much to glean here, besides being in the tunnels on the way to Sector 5, or the Sector 5 reactor. Here in this one we can kind of see the stairs that lead upstairs here, which we can also see in another screenshot from before, from December I think. Here, I think this is the very same. We see stairs and some contraption for controlling, I don't know, electricity flow or just something. Control or maybe just display of voltage. If we skip back and forth, you can see the same contraption, so the same devices back there and the stairs. Here and here. Although not exactly the same, but a little bit of a similar area. Because here we see stairs, a short flight of stairs, but here they're not present. So might be kind of a asset reusage going on, because the flight of stairs is here and here, which probably means we can step up the stairs on this side, maybe travel onto the other side above, and go down here on the other side. This could be just the opposite railway. And this is the exact same fight as we can see here, because same litter on the ground. Not visible here. Maybe just... Oh! No, it is kind of the same. We do see the stairs here. That's interesting. Does it... Although the stairs are more to the left here. Is just the angle playing tricks on me? Has to be. Yeah, it's probably just the angle. Because here we have kind of a 45 degrees angle, and here right onto it. 0 or 90 degrees, whatever you want to call it. And the pipes are still the same, so this must be the exact same. Although the enemies are also the same ones. Recolors and reskins of the security guards. We have 3 versions already. Those, the original blue ones, and the, I think, olive or black ones with the red scarf and the red paint on their pauldrons and helmet, as seen during the ascent to Shinra HQ, and one behind Reno when he enters the church. Other than that, I don't think I can glean any more in those screenshots here. But those 3 here are exactly in the same session and in the same few seconds recorded, because the HP are the same in all of those except the ATB. So here's the ATB is low, a bit higher here because this is right the punch after. And here using the Omnistrike, it's already above half. And here it's full. So if you power up the triangle attack twice and use all the triangle attack combos, you'll have a full ATB bar. So you can unleash, let's say, an axe kick or a true strike, which we'll see later, or power it up again, whatever you choose to do with the ATB, or use magic. It's pretty cool. So Barret has an ATB attack with overcharge. I think one overcharge fills it up a little bit over half of the ATB. So you can attack with square, full combo with finishing attack, then use overcharge and you're full. Tifa is kind of the same, just only with triangle combos. And as mentioned before, here we see True Strike, according to the article on the PlayStation blog. True Strike is apparently a quick strike. Tifa's True Strike move hits the enemy in the front of her with a swift attack. So this might be a sort of a counter move. So when the enemy uses a slow attack, Tifa can be quicker and counter with True Strike and maybe pressure the enemy with that or cancel the attack. Would be pretty neat. But this is not a normal attack, it's a ATB ability. Also, Abzu with his long tongue. Yeah. Anyway, next one here is the axe kick. Now we can already see it here in the battle against Airbuster. It's you can't quite see it because the screen grab from the E3 trailer doesn't do it justice, at least those few frames. I chose this frame because we see it here, axe kick. Also the unbridled strength with which upgrades her triangle attack, but this is practically the same. We also see axe kick in action during the Abzu fight seen or showcased at Tokyo Game Show last year, which you can see here on screen. So whenever we learn something new about Tifa's combat, I'm getting more and more intrigued. Alright, but here on this screen we can see another few interesting details. Because we're here with Cloud and Aerith and Tifa, I'm pretty sure this is in the sewers. Looks like it, and there's also this elevator of sorts, which probably leads to the sewers here, somewhere here, or at least the area that looks like this. And also mind those cables, or whatever those are. You can also see them back there, so it has similar elements to them, which is also why I think this is in sewers. Could theoretically also be in the warehouse and the train graveyard, but I don't think so, because the HP is much closer, or even lower than in here. Although HP are not really representative because they can set the HP for recording purposes to anything. But the other indication is blue goo, the enemy, the puffish, as we've already seen in the E3 trailer briefly. Here, in this frame, we can see it. Here you see the spikes at the bottom, the fins, and the small mouth. And the blue goos appear during the Sector 5 bombing mission, during the way to reactor number 5, and not in the train graveyard, so I don't think it's in the warehouse there. It looks like they have expanded the sewers by a large margin. Also, there's a door outside or to another room, and since it looks like we're on a higher level here, I kind of think this might lead to this walkway here that leads through the battle zone with Abs, or against Abzu. So it could be that we land here in this area here, fight Abzu, and run through the sewers, get to this door here, run over the catwalk to another room, and maybe that's what leads us up to train graveyard, possibly inside the warehouse, and from there to outside, as we see later. And as I've already theorized on the livestream.net articles I wrote, so please go check that out if you're inclined to do so. Speak of the devil, train graveyard. Here we have a slightly different angle of the turntable, which can guide trains to different parts of the train graveyard, or the train garage, station, whatever. But what's clearly new are those little buggers. Mutant rats or something, I don't know. They look pretty weird here, those two. Those are definitely new, because I don't remember rats being there in the original game, at least not as enemies. Behind there's the Cripshay. We've already seen that one in here. Screenshots which showcase Aerith's combat. Same face, same antler pincers, and pincers on the back. Also, tail here, tail with the pincer is new. The original had only a small white stubble, which didn't really look very good, which is probably why they changed it. Also, Aerith casts regen here on herself, as we see here. This one is regen, and I can prove it to you with this icon key found in the demo. So next to all those other icons we see here, regen, and also barrier and mana ward, as we see later a bit. And in the blog post they also were talking about the cure healing spells, the healing materia. It lets you use spells like cure and cura. In the original, the restore materia contained cure, cura, curaga, or cure 1, 2, 3, and regen as well. So we might look at the same instance here. They're talking about the healing materia, which consists of cure, cura, curaga, and regen. Or maybe regen is contained in its own materia, regen, regendra, regenga, or something like that, or regen and poison, or we'll see, I guess. And what's interesting here, we've seen this part before in another screenshot, which is this one. We're roaming around with Cloud, with Aerith and Tifa, just checking the area to see where to go next. This is also something I covered extensively in one of the articles on the livestream.net. And here you can see those tires, which are also present in here. Tires and the cog wheels, or whatever those are. This is the same area. Although, the turntable bridge has been turned. It's now connected to this connector and not the one over there. And you might also recognize this part over there. Train car covered by a blue tarp with containers in front. And here we see the same. Blue tarp over a train car and a container. And also the entrance here to the turntable, which we can see here. So as soon as you go over to the other side, probably, then the ghosts appear and chase Cloud around. Really looking forward to that scene. Also, in the back here, we can already see, I think it's Sector 6's, possibly, or is it Sector 7's pillar? Because we are here in Sector 7. I'm not sure of the orientation. Hang on. From here, we can see Sector 6 there. So this means we're looking over there to the left. So this must be the Sector 7 pillar, which is pretty cool. So the warehouse we've seen in the overview shot, this one. The turntable lies around here. It's in the back. So if we emerge within this warehouse from the sewers and exit it, we have a direct view on the pillar, which is our next objective, which is really nice from a level design and gameplay or game progression perspective. Also, we see here a ladder reaching up to the train chassis car, or however you call this, wheel carriage stack, which is probably part of a traversal puzzle or something like that, which is pretty neat. I don't think we see anything else of note here, other than more train cars, more containers, some rocks over there, which should be visible over here. Exactly, those are those rocks over here and here. I think this one, it's this one, because this is the strut that has been toppled over. It's exactly this one here, this strut. And we can see parts of a train car here and the container. So we're over at this point and look over in this direction, which makes sense because in the back we see here the central pillar of Midgar, and if we look at the pillar of Sector 7 here in this direction, which is around, I think, here, makes perfect sense. So Sector 6 is then over on this side, which we see here. Everything fits together. Nice. Alright, I think I've exhausted this screenshot. Let's move on. Now we're back in the service area of Sector 5 on our way to reactor number 5. Why? Because of the grass strikes. And it also looks kind of like those walkways and chasms, or the abyss that leads down to the slums. I also see that in the original. Here is the silk of the grass strikes. And this also looks quite similar to this part here. Might not be the exact same area, or maybe it's the opposite area, or just somewhere nearby. Or maybe we're upstairs over here. But here Barret is fighting against the grass strike too. We see the same type of layout, type of design of this place here. And here's also an H over here too, which leads me to this other screenshot here. It's also from the E3 2019 trailer. Barret shoots fire in the hole, ball of fire against a blue goo here. Here's a 06, a G07, G07. So this must be in the same area, where you go from G to H to I to J. I don't know how many pillars or sectors or areas this part has, but it looks to be connected. And also those plates on the ground look to be the same, like here and here too. So we're looking definitely at the same ballpark, so to speak. Also here I think I see another elevator. It leads to an area deeper down, which might be here. This is why I theorize we're a level higher. So the G and the H might be vertically different levels, not just horizontally different. Who knows? Now, what Cloud's doing here is not just a normal attack, at least according to the blog post, which says, deadly dodge materia turns any attack made after evading an attack into a powerful melee strike. Any character can use it, not just Cloud. So if you remember, the Punisher mode has a counter stance when you block, or at the same time when you switch to Punisher mode, it also counterattacks when attacked with melee strike. So this materia allows anyone to use a counter. But in this case, you need to evade an attack, probably dodging by pressing circle. If you don't take any damage by evading, I'm pretty sure the next attack, which follows in maybe 1 or 2 seconds, unleashes this swiping attack, which is pretty cool. I'm also pretty sure that this is purple materia, which is independent, which makes sense. Now, something completely different, the nail bat, which we have already seen in a previous screenshot, where we were looking at the upgrade weapon screenshot. Here, nail bat has already been revealed, and now we finally know how it looks like. Almost the same as in the original, but it has an additional white wrapping around the grip part, and many more nails. This must hurt pretty bad. Also no materia slots, of course. Tifa has 2 equipped. And here's Caesar. This is an enemy from the sewers, which also appears next to the Sahagins. And in this part it looks quite similar to this area seen in TGS 2019 trailer, the Japanese version. Here's another Caesar back there, and this looks to be kind of a similar corner. It's probably not exactly the same, as I can see a valve here. This valve here, or maybe it's just too dark. And the floor also seems to be a little bit different here. Anyway, I'm glad Nailbat is there and we can smack the enemies with it. And I'm pretty sure it has a very high attack power. Also, we're with Tifa and Aerith around, and not with Tifa and Barret, as seen in this screenshot here. But this is definitely the first visit to the sewers, and this one is the second one, probably after Platefall. And now it gets interesting and a little bit spoilery, at least for the Final Fantasy VII Remake, because this is completely new. Mercenary quests. And in one of the, I think it was episode 8 of the Reunion podcast, which I'm the co-host of, together with Kairosis, we were talking about our apprehensions about the remake, which also contained quests. As you might remember, Final Fantasy XV had a lot of quests, but most of them were extremely shallow and just fetch quests or give someone a potion and it's done. We're hoping that we won't run into those kind of quests, but in a recent interview with Nomura-san, he confirmed that most of the quests, or the side quests in general, will be as fleshed out as the main quests. So not just, oh, go kill some animals or some enemies and be done with it. But they seem to have more lore to them, more meat. You meet different NPCs, and probably learn about their lives and see more about Midgar and stuff like that. Those here don't really look like it. Chalice report is something completely different, which I'll show you later. The rat problem sounds like your cookie cutter first rat killing quest in any D&D or Dungeons and Dragons inspired RPG, like Baldur's Gate. First quest, go kill the rats in the basement. Classic. But I think this is a little bit different because it has here, you see here, 4 different stages. Chalice Report has only 2, but I think this is just the first of many Chalice Report quests. Nuisance in the Factory even has 5 steps, as well as Lost Friends. So this means we're looking at more intricate quests there, or at least multiple steps. And in the blog post it also says Cloud can help out the many people across Midgar, including local merchants, like this one here, which might be an item shop or magic, maybe? Maybe this one also sells materia. Ah, yes, it is the materia guy. Remember, I need to show you this. Remember this one here? Items shop? Well, the items shop is probably over there, but this one? I don't remember from the top of my head if this one here is the materia or the items shop, or if it has... Maybe this shop has both items and materia in the original. At least this one was the shop at the bottom in Sector 7, in the background render. And inside we also saw a similar plaques or similar signs here. I think even exactly the same. Exactly this one here. The bottle and the X. This one is the guy inside this here. Yeah, here, the bottle and the X. It's exactly the same. Cool. Alright, so Nuisance in the Factory is also something different. In blog post it says, in this quest, Cloud is asked to deal with some drakes. He'll get valuable rewards for completing the task, which we can see here. Nuisance in the Factory, 500 gil, HP and MP fully restored, because we had to battle some drakes. And contrary to the belief of many, this one is not the Thunderbird, or however it's called in the original game, which you can encounter in near Wutai, in the Wutai area. Those ones who throw those annoying, strong lightning attacks against you. Because this one looks to me like a recolor of, or a reskin of the Dean Glow. Dean Glow seen here. This one here. Dean Glow is a drake-like creature from the graveyard, the train graveyard, as seen here in the back. And this one looks to be the same. Same bat-like or dragon-like wings. Same spikes or whatever those are on his neck, and the same looking head with a spike here. And the feet also look the same, and I think he has a tail, but yeah, you see it here just a little bit. Tail. So this is not a bird, this is a plane. No, it's just a drake. A Dean Glow reskin or recolor. Also, we're here in a warehouse of sorts, which is probably part of a factory. As said here, nuisance in a factory, which are probably those. And what's also interesting is that Tifa and Cloud are fighting alone here. They're alone questing through Sector 7, which is of course this part here. You see parts of the mountains back there. This is most likely reactor number 7. And this is the border or the wall around the pillar, I think. I don't recognize those buildings there. And yeah, this is the item guy, or at least one of the item guys. Now, it looks like when you complete a quest, you might get a follow-up quest immediately. Just flew in from the graveyard. Might be from the same guy or from someone else. But at least you have to complete certain quests to unlock other ones. At least it looks like it. And just flew in from the graveyard is not seen in here, which might be number 5 or number 6. Or nuisance in the factory is just the first one, and flew in from the graveyard is the second one. Lost friends could be you have to seek out the friends of this girl here, which I hope also contains some lore and some more information about the citizens in the slums. Do you see guys and gals behind there working? I think this person here is carrying some pipe or something. This one also seems to carry something. It looks like they're hard at work there. We also see here's Chapter 3. So Chapter 2 is going through Sector 8 and riding the train down to Sector 7. And when we reach Sector 7, then I think Chapter 3 starts. Home Sweet Slum. It also looks like we have specific quests per chapter. So if we're done with those, or if we're done with Chapter 3, those disappear and we get to do Chapter 4 quests. Which makes sense, especially because Sector 7 is no more in the future. Or at least probably after 2/3 of the game. This looks to be quite linear and you probably can't go back as much. There's not much backtracking going on. Maybe into Sector 6, but most of the areas here in Midgar are probably not going to be backtrackable into. Kind of like Final Fantasy XIII, just less closed in, less corridor-like. At least I hope so. Which is okay, because the original game, the Midgar section was also very linear, extremely linear. It makes only sense that the remake here also goes a linear approach, at least for the most part. I think here in the Sector 7, Sector 5, Sector 6 and other areas, they'll probably act like hub areas as long as you're there. From where you can travel to other smaller parts. Nomura-san also confirmed vehicles of some sort. So I'm pretty sure we will have some freedom to roam around, at least in later parts, later chapters, because in the beginning I don't think we have that much freedom. And we have here track quest, which helps us to keep the current quest on screen so we can see where it leads to. We might also see here on the screen where it might be, or maybe we're tracking just flew in from the graveyard. This is the tracked quest, which is always visible here, no matter what we do. So either this is a follow-up quest we just got, or it's the second step of this quest here, Nuisance in the Factory. or it's a tracked quest. One of those three. Could be that nuisance in the factory completed means we completed the whole, all 5 points, because quest number 3 reads nuisance in the factory. So in effect, I think it's only 2 versions. Follow-up quest, or an unlocked quest after completing this one, or just a tracked quest. I think pressing triangle just opens the map and we can see the objective from the current quests, which is pretty nice. And just so we can disable stuff on the map, as we see in this shot here. You see the map. Here Chadley's quest is shown big here, and we see other quests out of view. It would be nice to just be able to disable those, because as soon as you see markers, you tend to only follow the markers and don't really appreciate the surroundings and the map, and don't search for yourself. I like to search for myself and get to know my bearings, get to know the layout of the city or location I'm in, so that I know everything inside out and don't just follow marker to marker to marker, because that one's pretty cheap in my opinion. Now, is this one deadly dodge? Or it could also be something else, which I'll get to in a bit. Also, the security on patrol seems to be a recurring sign. We've already seen that in the demo, in the reactor and on certain spots. Now, Chadley, as far as I know, will be a recurring NPC, which will accomplish quests for multiple times. PlayStation blog also says this about the battle report. Meet Chadley, a 15-year-old research trainee working on the Professor Hojo. He's researching new types of materia and needs a little help from Cloud. You can collect battle reports quests from Chadley into Sector 7 slums. He'll ask you to achieve various requirements, such as making a certain number of enemies burst, or staggered in the English version, or use assess materia a certain number of times. Complete these tasks and he'll develop more materia that you can buy. So, he'll be a resource for materia. Pretty cool materia, I think. And as we see in the next screenshot here, Battle Intel, it's in English, Battle Report is probably the Japanese version. Monster Buyer Part 1. The extreme conditions in which certain monsters thrive have provided them with unique curative abilities. My aim is to harness this skill in the form of materia. Assess enemies to provide further intel. Conditions: assess 2 enemy types. New materia as a result: auto-cure materia, which is probably the one Cloud has equipped here, unless it's deadly dodge, but deadly dodge seems to be something for the second bombing mission, which hasn't happened yet. So, this is auto-cure materia. Report number 1, there's report number 2, 3, 4 unlocked here. Magic elements, we probably have to exploit the enemy's elemental weakness 3 times here. Stagger enemies 10 times. Stagger enemies 15 times. What's the difference between those, you ask? I don't know yet, but we'll see, I guess. Just staggering 10 times and staggering 15 times sounds a bit boring to do it twice. Maybe the conditions are a little bit different. Alright, sounds like we covered everything in here. Although we do see how analysis or the assess materia works, or looks like. Oh no, this is a hole eater, which we've seen in the original in Sector 5. Although this looks to be Sector... Is this Sector 7? Maybe this is Sector 5 too, because this really looks like a hole eater. This is the mouth with all the teeth around it. It has 4 legs and the scorpion tail. Maybe the hole eaters already appear near Sector 7, maybe in the outskirts, where we have to go to. It's pretty cool. Completed 1 out of 4. Of course, 1 out of 4. Chadley kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Also notice his backpack here and the handkerchief or something like that. And some weird belts? I have no idea what those are. Helps him, maybe some sort of leg or knee bracers to help him stabilize. Kind of looks like hope, and I don't like that. Anyway, let's see. Here's Chadley just in the middle of Sector 7 slums with the riffraff, and we have guys here with guns all around. But I think those are more likely the friendly neighbor vigilantes, or at least people who try to keep the neighborhood safe. At least I hope so. And if that's the case, Chadley should feel safe around here. Also look at all the graphics and the textures here. It looks really nice. Looks really, really nice. Also we see here the interact button, triangle button again, which we've already seen in the train, in the E3 2019 trailer, where Cloud is closing up to Biggs, or getting closer to Biggs. We see the same here. It also appears above chests, although I think it just says open or something. This is just showcasing how Chocobo Chick works. It's the same. I think I'll go into detail about summons at a different time, not here. I can just quickly recap. So if the conditions are right, an orb appears up there, and then Cloud or whoever can start the summoning. Bar appears, which then depletes, and when it's fully depleted, the summon will perform a finishing attack. With Ifrit it's Hellfire, with Chocobo Chick it's some sort of explosion, as we've seen in one of the teasers on the Twitter account. Although what I find curious is that Cloud doesn't have the summoning materia in here, because in Leviathan footage and the showcase of Ifrit, as soon as Cloud summoned Ifrit, a red dot appeared back there. So this might indicate that the small summons might work a little bit differently. Maybe you can summon all three of those, but I don't think so. Maybe it's just a UI fiddling going on or something like that. Battle against the Sweeper on this platform or area we go to with Avalanche. The whole mission I have covered in Game Analysis Part 16, where we meet Roche in the theme song trailer. We also see the same area, meeting Roche, where he's just riding around with bicycle, annoying all the guards, and wants a second dance with Cloud. And there we also battle two sweepers, and Chocobo Chick is already available there, maybe. Now in the next one, we see Carbuncle with his huge head. I still can't really wrap my head around, no pun intended. But the rest looks pretty cute, even those small... I have no idea how to call those. It's just the skin parts above, below, or beneath feet of cats, dogs, whatever. Now this is the same area we've already seen in the State of Play 2019 trailer. Same fight against the same Crash Strike Queen. The same patterns back there, same area, same everything. And since this is probably a mini-boss, we're able to summon our little helpers here. And here we see Tifa being granted a status effect, which is Mana Ward, which is red. So in the teaser footage, where they showed off Carbuncle on the Twitter page of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, he cast Protect or Barrier, because the barrier was blue, and this one, Mana Ward, is red. Now we see Tifa here in her Rise and Fall mode, which is depleting. So if you wait for too long, Rise and Fall will deplete and change to Omni Strike, and then change back to Whirling Uppercut. So Tifa has to get on with it to battle this, or punch this Crash Strike Queen into the ground and into the air. Cloud is in Punisher mode stance, and Barret is just nowhere to be seen. Interesting. Anyway, some people were wondering what those arrows are, maybe increased strength or something, but no. This is just a general icon for positive status, so that we see, oh, those also have positive status here. Pretty sure this is the exact same status effect here for all three, because when we switch, it will most likely show the same one for all of the three. And you can also see here that this status effect has already depleted a little bit, so there's a sort of clock timer that goes all around the place, all around, until it's depleted and goes away for good. So here we see how long it takes, how long it's active for, which is pretty neat. You can already see this in the demo. During Cloud's Punisher mode, I think when you're holding square and he does his stepping down attack, we're getting into Berserker mode, which is this one here, Berserk. You can also see kind of a timer running out. Also the same Carbuncle has the same timer here for the summons. And if you haven't caught up yet, this one is in the tunnels during the Reactor 5 bombing mission, on their way to the Reactor number 5. Next one we see Cactuar, one of my favorite enemies and summons. I'm really glad that he made it in, although I'm a little bit miffed that Tomberry hasn't been seen yet. I'd really loved Tomberry to be in there as a summon, maybe as a enemy, but I don't think so. That's probably reserved, or they're probably keeping him for later parts. Because as you remember in the original Final Fantasy VII, Tonberries only appeared in the final dungeon, at least Master Tonberries. Now here we see Cloud have a negative status effect, which has those downward arrows. And here we're fighting against a hedgehog pie, I think, which looks more like a frog here. He still has a huge belly and I think some spikes here on the back. Same weird mouth. But this begs the question, why can we summon here an ally while we're battling just a normal enemy? It's kind of weird. Unless this is part of a bigger fight, which you just can't see yet and it's outside of view. Or maybe it's location based, this is a pretty large area which allows us to summon no matter which enemies are there. Of course, 1,000 needles, as always. And this seems to be, at least from what we see Cloud and Aerith here. This is Sector 5, after the church incident, after we flee. So it looks like Sector 5 is full of those rocks. We see the same rocks in the fight against Brood and some other parts. Really looking forward to this. And the last two screenshots are just screenshots of environments. This one I have analyzed to death, so I won't go into this again. This is just the reactor core, and you can see this for yourself when playing the demo. But this one here is a little bit interesting, more interesting. This is the tunnels. Tunnels to reactor number 5 on the second bombing mission. And the PlayStation blog has this to say. The corkscrew tunnel connects the slum streets to the nicer living areas on top of Midgar's plates. The tunnel coils upwards in a giant corkscrew through the center of Midgar. Passengers on a train carriage are always checked for ID, and movement between cars is closely monitored. When an intruder is discovered, military-grade weapons are deployed and intruders are dealt with quickly. We've already seen this in the Tokyo Game Show trailer and the E3 2019 trailer. So, Tokyo Game Show trailer showed a small clip where we see the ID scan, and the E3 2019 trailer showed parts of a new scene where the crew gets attacked by all those drones within the train cars. So they failed the ID scan and then the drones attack to deal with them, but of course Barret, Tifa and Cloud are stronger. And slice them and shoot them and punch them to smithereens. Now, this tunnel here, while it looks cool, doesn't really have much to say. Unless maybe soar and keep out and some other graffiti and the same contraptions or controls for which train goes where, signals, what have you. What's the most interesting here is this. Energy drink potion dispenser. So I'm pretty sure we're able to buy some potions and other items from those dispensers, which I really like. So it doesn't really make sense for a merchant to just loiter around in places nobody should be loitering around. So those item dispensers are a really great alternative. And right next to it here, there's this bench, I think. Might be able to sit on there, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy XV in the camping spots in the last chapter, in Insomnia, where there was one room where they just were sitting on benches, or were they beds, I think, with also a item dispenser or item shop nearby. Has the same vibes. Alright, I think that's it for screenshot analysis. The small, short, quick screenshot analysis. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you're not miffed about me covering this in this quick or rough analysis format. The thing is, I only have time for around 3 more full game analysis videos or episodes until the game drops, and I need to cover all the other parts as well, like those screenshots and some parts of the E3 and TGS 2019 trailers, which I haven't gotten to. Most of them I'll probably just post pictures on Twitter to point out interesting findings. I've already started with that, and I might do another quick analysis if it's warranted, but I'll probably just better off posting pictures. But for now, we're done with that, and now I need to get back to work on the next game analysis episode. So thank you so much for listening in. Like, subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. And really don't hesitate to share this video around, share your thoughts in the comments below, join our Discord server, Cosmo Canyon Observatory, to be part of the conversation, and hopefully you'll be part of the next video again. That being said, thank you so much for listening in, and I hope to see you again in the next quick or full game analysis episode. Stay safe and take care. Bisuazat, signing off.